This is Keith Helwig. I want to take this opportunity to promote my books. It's been a while since I made any videos about them, and I think I'd kind of like to do this in time for the holidays. A little bit about myself. I've worked in law enforcement both as a correctional officer and as a police officer for 45 years now. I worked in a medium security prison, a maximum security prison, deputy sheriff, and a municipal police officer. I'm currently retired from full-time, but I work part-time as a patrol officer for two small communities. Well, during the course of my career, I've seen a lot of things, I've done a lot of things, and while I certainly don't consider myself an expert, I am an old guy who's just seen a lot. One of the things I decided to do, probably about 8 or 9 years ago, was to write a book. Now, I wrote my first book, No Place Like Home. I wrote this book because I wanted people to see the reality of what it is to be a correctional officer. I wanted them to see the humanity of correctional officers, and I wanted them to see the humanity of inmates as well. Now, No Place Like Home is set in an interesting format. Everything in the book is based on things that have actually happened to me during the course of my career. The book takes place during the course of one day. It starts out with a hostage situation. And from the hostage situation, it goes into the day's events leading up to the hostage situation. Now, everything in the book, as I said, is true. The hostage experience, however, is fictional. I was never a hostage, but I was a hostage extraction team leader. I was a hostage negotiator, and ultimately I ended up commanding a sniper team. So the hostage situation portrayed in the book is very realistic. In fact, I did talk to people who'd been held hostage in prison situations to get this. I followed that book up a couple years later by writing this book called Morning Will Come. Morning Will Come is written in much the same format. It takes place during a single day, only it starts out with a school shooting, an active shooter. Now, this is something which is, of course, quite prominent in the news today. Morning Will Come, once again. The only thing that's fictional in this book is the actual active shooter itself. I've never been involved in an active shooter. However, I have had training as responding to an active shooter. In Morning Will Come, it's set again, as in my last book, in a period of one day, and it starts out with a shooter situation, and the next chapter goes on to the day's events leading up to this shooting. As I said, everything in the book is factual except for the shooter. Now, it's set in a rural community, and the response is by a single officer. Because of the setting, he's not able to get help. Now, people think, well, that's unrealistic. You know, that kind of sounds like Die Hard. Well, the fact of the matter is, as police officers now, we're trained to confront the shooter. We're not trained to wait for backup. We're not trained to hide around the corner behind a pillar where we're nice and safe. We're trained to go to the sound of the shooting, and that's what the officer does in Morning Will Come. The last book I wrote concerning corrections, I didn't actually write the whole book. What I did was I solicited stories from correctional officers from around the country and around the world. I have stories in here from officers in New Zealand, Ireland, England, Canada, as well as quite a few states. There's also stories that I wrote myself that I hadn't included in the other books. In their own words, tells how things are handled around the country and around the world in our prisons today. You know, we see so much on television. People don't know the reality of prisons. People don't care about the reality of prisons. They just want people locked up, put away, out of sight, out of mind. Well, in reading in their own words, you're going to see some humor that happens in the prisons. You're going to see some tragedy that happens in the prisons. You're going to see the reality that happens in the prisons. Now, I didn't mention the price of my books. No Place Like Home, Morning Will Come, and in their own words, are available on Amazon. Actually, on Amazon, you're probably going to pay more getting it through them than if you get them directly through me. No Place Like Home, directly through me, is $10. Morning Will Come, directly through me, is $11. In their own words, directly from me, is $14. Now, as a special, I will sell all 3 books. I will sign them and send them to you for $32. Now, to get a book from me, you can either send me a personal message and we'll arrange for payment, we'll arrange for me getting the books to you, or you can use PayPal. Now, I'm going to read this off because I can't remember it, but my PayPal is paypal.me/HellwigBooks. It's all one word, Hellwig Books. As soon as I see your order comes through, whether it's on PayPal or whether you send me something directly, I will sign and send the books to you personally, or to whatever address you have me to send it to. If you want to get it as a gift for someone and have it sent directly to them, I can do that. Now, if you work in corrections today, whether you're a probation agent, a parole agent, a correctional officer, or if you're a police officer, or if you're considering it, or if it's something you're just simply interested in, any one of these books is going to give you an insight into a world that few people want to acknowledge exists. I'd invite you to take a look at my books, and thank you very much.